Good morning, class. Alright, please remain standing. We'll have our prayer first. Jane, can you lead our prayer? Amen. Good morning, grade 3 pupils. You greet your classmates also. Alright, how are you today? It is nice to hear that you all feel great and happy today. Please be seated. Is anyone absent this morning? Good to hear that. Did I give you an assignment last meeting? Alright, please be seated. So before we start with our discussion for this morning, I would like to remind you of our classroom rules that you should always follow. So first is you listen when someone is talking. Second, avoid talking to your seatmates so you can focus with our discussion. And lastly, you raise your right hand if you want to say something. Is that clear? Alright, what did we discuss last meeting? Yes, Althea. Correct. Now, who can give examples of plural form of irregular nouns by changing its spelling in another way? Yes, Ria. Correct. What else? Yes, Morgan. Very good. It seems like all of you are ready for the discussion of our next topic this morning. Before we proceed to our discussion for this morning, we're going to have an activity first. So this activity is called 4 picks, 1 word. So what you're going to do is you're going to guess the word with the help of the pictures as your clue. So for our first set of pictures, what word do you think it is? Correct. Toothbrush. Do you have any toothbrush at home? How many toothbrushes are there in your home? Is it a countable or uncountable noun? What do you think? Alright, very good. For our next set of pictures, what do you think it is? This is rice. Do you eat rice? Yes. Do you think it is a countable or uncountable noun? Very good. It could be uncountable noun. So we have here toothbrush and rice. So based from our examples here, we can say that a countable noun are nouns that you can count. However, the uncountable nouns are the nouns that you cannot count, just like our examples here. So rice, you cannot count a rice since it is not an individual object. Examples of countable noun are individual people, animals, places, things, or ideas which can be counted, while the examples of uncountable nouns are not individual objects, so they cannot be counted. Today, we will learn how to differentiate between countable and uncountable nouns, and we will also identify examples of each and create a sentence using countable and uncountable nouns. Now class, I have here a picture. So for our first picture, what can you observe? Alright, there are apples. Can you count the apples? Yes, you can count the apples. So we have here 4 apples. This means that apples are examples of countable nouns since we can count them. Countable nouns are things that can be counted even if the number might be extremely high. For the second picture, what can you observe? It is tea. Can you count the tea? No, you cannot count a tea. That means that a tea is an example of uncountable nouns. Uncountable nouns are things that we cannot count with numbers. They might be the names for abstract ideas or qualities or for physical objects that are too small to count or shapeless. So I have here a set of pictures. So for our first picture, what can you observe? What is this? This is a clock. Can you count the clock? Yes, so this is an example of countable nouns. For our next picture, this is a headphones. Can you count a headphones? Yes, so this is also an example of countable nouns. Next is we have eggs. Can you count the eggs? Yes, so this is a countable noun. Next, this is a salt. Can you count a salt? No, you cannot count a salt. So this is an example of uncountable noun. Next, we have sugar and salt. Can you count them? No, you cannot count them. So this is also an example of uncountable nouns. How about this? This is a milk. Can you count a milk? No, you cannot. So this is also an example of a uncountable noun. These are butterflies. Can you count butterflies? Yes, so this is an example of countable noun. For our last set of pictures, so we have here, this is flour. Can you count them? No, you cannot. So this is an example of a uncountable nouns. And lastly, these are grasshoppers. So can you count grasshoppers? Yes, you can. So this is an example of a countable noun. Again, the countable nouns are the things that you can count, while the uncountable nouns are those that you cannot count. Did you now understand the difference between countable and uncountable nouns? Very good. Since you are now familiar with countable and uncountable nouns, let's have an activity. So I have here two boxes. The first box is labeled as countable noun, while the other is labeled for the uncountable noun. I've also pasted 6 flashcards where nouns are written here on the board. What you're going to do is that you're going to classify the different nouns written on the flashcards if they are countable or uncountable noun. If they are countable noun, you're going to place them in this box. If they are uncountable noun, then you're going to place them in this box. Did you understand? Alright, I need 6 volunteers for this activity. Who would like to volunteer? Yes, you may come here in front. Alright, let's try to check your answers. So for the uncountable noun, they've placed the shirt and the textbook here. Can you count the textbook? Yes. What about the shirt? Yes. Therefore, their answers are correct. Let's try to check the uncountable nouns. So we have here sauce. Can you count a sauce? No. So this is a uncountable noun. How about hair? Can you count the strands of your hair? No. It's also an example of uncountable noun. What about the water? You cannot count a water, so this is correct. This is an uncountable noun. What about upstairs? You also cannot count this, so this is uncountable noun. So all of your answers are correct. The shirt and textbook belongs to countable noun since they can be counted. However, upstairs, water, hair, and sauce belongs to uncountable nouns since they cannot be counted. Now, let's have another activity, but this time it would be a group activity. Are you all excited? Alright, since there are 20 of you here, I will divide the class into two. So this would be the first group and this would be the second group. So each group should have 10 members. You form a circle within your group, then select your leader. Every leader of the group should come here in front and pick a strip of paper from this box for your topic. Since you already know your topic, here's what you're going to do. So each member of your group should provide an example of the type of noun assigned to your group and use it in a sentence. There should be 10 examples of noun that are used in a sentence since there are 10 members per group. I will give 2 sheets of bond paper per group. I'll give you 15 minutes to do the activity and another 5 minutes to finalize your answer before we proceed to the presentation. The leader of your group will be the one to present the group's answer in front. Do I make myself clear? Alright, your 20 minutes starts now. We're going to have another activity, but this time it is an individual activity. So get a 1 whole sheet of paper. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to classify the following objects on the box by placing them in the correct column where they belong. I'll give you 5 minutes to work on with the activity. So for your another activity, get another sheet of paper. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to list down 5 countable nouns that are also compound nouns and 5 uncountable nouns that are also material nouns that you often see at home, park, school, or other places. I'll give you another 5 minutes to work on with this activity. And after, we're going to check your answers. Okay, class, what have you learned today? Alright, can you give me examples of countable nouns? Very good. How about uncountable nouns? Very good. Let's give everyone a clap. For your last activity this morning, get a 1 whole sheet of paper. So listed on the first column of the box are examples of countable and uncountable noun. You're going to identify on the second column if the listed noun is an countable or uncountable noun. Then on the third column is you're going to use the noun in the sentence. I'll give you 10 minutes to work on with the activity. Are you done answering? Pass your paper. For your assignment, here's what you're going to do. So the first part, we have there 10 examples of nouns. You're going to identify if the nouns are countable nouns or uncountable nouns. You're going to write a capital letter C for countable nouns and write a capital letter U for uncountable nouns. For the last part of your assignment is you're going to look on the internet 5 pictures of countable nouns and uncountable nouns. You're going to print and paste it in a 1/8 illustration board. You're going to submit it next meeting, which is on November 24, 2023. And that's the end of our discussion for this morning. I hope you learned something today. Goodbye and see you again, class.